Topic name: marking out on the round sections for geometrical shaped fittings such as spleen with 3 or 4 teeth, finishing and fitting to size, checking up the faces for universality.
Dear students, in this session, we shall study how to make the round sections, their finishing, size checking and verification. This shall be discussed in two parts, part 1 and part 2. Objective: at the end of this task, you shall be able to mark and file spline on the shaft, mark and file internal spline in the hub, file and assemble hub and spline shaft. First of all, check the raw material size using steel rule and file the raw metal to overall size part 1 28 to 50 mm diameter and part 2 50 to 50 mm diameter. Next, apply marking media on part 1 and part 2 and mark off spline keyways on part 1 and 2 by keeping on V blocks using vernier height gauge and tri-square as per job drawing. Now, punch witness mark on part 1 and part 2. Similarly, enlarge the pilot hole using different diameter drill and finally drill 20 mm diameter and enlarge the hole. Further, hold the job in benchwise and file keyway slot to size 10 mm width into 4 mm depth using square file bastard, second cut and smooth grade of file. Similarly, file other 3 keyway slot to the size as per job drawing. Check the keyway slots sizes using vernier caliper and finish file on part 1 and part 2 as shown in job drawing and slide it. Now, cut and remove the excess metal in part 1 by hacksawing and chipping and file to size and shape using flat file, safe edge file, square file and half round file bastard, second cut and smooth grade of files. Further, check the spline shaft size using vernier caliper. Finally, hold the part 2 in drilling machine table. Fix center drill in drilling machine spindle. Drill center drill to locate center of the round rod. Remove center drill and 6 mm diameter drill in drilling machine spindle and drill pilot of the hole. Apply thin coat of oil and preserve it for evaluation. Now, we shall discuss how to mark a job using vernier height gauge. First of all, clamp the finished turned rod in the V block with the help of the clamps and make marks on both faces of the job. Then set the scribber point on the top edge of the job and move the height gauge scribber over the round surface to get a feel that the scribber bottom faces is contacting the work periphery. Later, lock the slides and note down the reading of the scales. Next, subtract half the diameter from the reading and set the height gauge for that reading and scribe a horizontal line on both faces. Now release the workpiece from the clamp and rotate the workpiece through 90 degrees. Set the line at 90 degrees with the help of tri-square. Finally, clamp the workpiece to the V block and scribe horizontal lines on both faces with the same reading, which is set for center position. Now add eccentricity amount to the above reading, reset the height gauge for the new reading and scribe horizontal lines on both faces. Release the workpiece from the V block and punch mark on both sides concentric and eccentric center points. Now, we shall discuss how to check parallelism using dial test indicator. For checking parallelism and flatness of surfaces, dial test indicators are mostly used. Procedure: assemble the dial test indicator on the stand. Ensure that the surface plate and the dial test indicator stand base are cleaned. Remove burrs from work surface and clean. Check the free movement of the plunger. Place the workpiece below the dial test indicator and set the plunger. A half-ton pressure of the pointer will be adequate. The plunger should be perpendicular to the work surface. Unlock the bezel clamp, set the reading to 0. Slide the workpiece on the surface plate below the dial test indicator. Note the reading. Repeat the same step at 3 places longitudinally and transversely. Note the reading and determine the differences. Precautions: do not apply oil on the plunger of the dial test indicator. Avoid sudden jerks to the plunger. Students, I hope now you have understood the repairing techniques like mark and file spline on the shaft, mark and file internal spline in the hub, file and assemble hub and spline shaft.